Alright, so here's a question for you. Do you know when the Nissan Frontier was last refreshed? Like me, you're probably going to be surprised to find out it was way back in 2004. Well, it matters because this ancient Nissan Frontier has actually been outselling the Ford Ranger so far in 2019. Not only is that shocking, but that's also a horrible sign for Ford and the future of the Ford Ranger here in the US. And in this video, we're going to dive into a little bit more, look at the numbers, and speculate a bit as to why the sales might be so low for the new Ford Ranger. So I wasn't joking with you in that intro. The Nissan Frontier honestly did outsell the Ford Ranger, and not by a small margin. Through April of this year, the Nissan Frontier has sold over 25,000 units in the US, while the Ford Ranger is less than 16,000. That sets Ford up for a pace to sell less than 48,000 Ford Rangers in the first year of production here in the US. That's after Ford made it very clear to everyone and published everywhere they could that they had over 300,000 people say that they had interest in the Ford Ranger online, but clearly that interest, or that informal commitment, if you will, online has not translated at all into sales. So why is that, and how does that affect Ford? Well, first of all, this is a very expensive forecasting mistake for Ford. They've been producing Rangers like crazy, talking about how they've been putting plants into overtime to come up with the production to meet this forecasted demand. And now all these Rangers are just going to be sitting around and not getting sold, not moving off dealerships, and not even getting sent to dealerships because the demand is so different than the forecast. And I'm going to make the argument that Ford's forecast is actually not really the problem here. I think it's the demand. And I'm not really sure why the demand is so low, but the segment as a whole is actually growing. All the other big names in the segment of small mid-sized pickup trucks are expected to sell more vehicles in 2019 than they did in 2018. So the health of the market has not gone down, it's continued to grow. And this market is actually so attractive that other names such as Jeep and Ram and even Volkswagen have been kind of dipping their toes in, engaging interest within this market in the US, trying to get into it. So there's really no reason why Ford should not expect to sell a good amount of vehicles here in the US by bringing back the Ranger. And the Ranger itself doesn't necessarily seem to be the problem because it's largely competitive in its segment. It really matches the competition in price and performance. The truck earned positive reviews, and many publications actually saw the Ranger as being a genuine competitor for the Tacoma. Really, the only downfall since the release of the Ranger has been a recall back in March for issues with the shift lever, but that was a pretty small recall, only 3,000 vehicles, and there haven't been any reported incidents due to that, so it's hard to believe that that could be a factor. So if on paper the Ranger seems to make sense in the market and be a good competitor, you should expect it to get a pretty fair slice of the pie. But obviously with these numbers, it is way behind and is not performing anywhere near like it was forecasted or like on paper it should. So why is that? And the honest answer is we don't totally know yet. So that's really why I wanted to make this video and simply get this out to my audience and ask you guys, what are your thoughts on the Ford Ranger? Did you buy one? Would you consider buying one? Why or why not? And even if you're not a truck guy or like a small mid-sized truck guy, just what are your impressions of the Ranger? I'm really interested to see why this vehicle is not competing well with the likes of the Tacoma and other pickup trucks in this segment. And I think since we have a pretty Ford heavy following right now in our viewers, we should hopefully be able to answer this question pretty well. I know there's going to be some of you that are going to absolutely love the Ranger and be in there, but I'm really interested in the factors that are causing people not to buy it. Because on paper, like I said, it should be pretty competitive. So hopefully we can kind of dive into this a bit more, bring together some other people's opinions, and kind of formulate a response to what might be causing these numbers to be so low. So with that, thank you guys. Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video.